No.
Not any of them.
I love it.
I actually never thought that I would make it to this day. And I don't want to scare the new people thinking, oh no, is it really that hard? It really isn't that hard. I just honestly never thought I would make it. I cannot believe that this is the 10th speech out of this book, and then it's done. It's no more. I can get a new book, 2 new books actually, and go on from there. When I started thinking about what I was going to talk about today and what my final speech was, I started going through the book and I looked up the objectives. And I'll have to share a little secret with you. I usually don't do that first. I usually write the speech first, and then I show up and my evaluator stands up and reads some objectives, and I'm like, really? I gotta do all of that? Oh, wow, okay. It wasn't until Chris Yen actually did a evaluation of somebody, and he pointed out that the person did not hit the objective. And I was saying, oh, that's me. Maybe I should start reading those objectives just in case my evaluator's on the ball. So my final speeches, I have tried to stick to the objectives. But when I was thinking about my final speech, and I looked at the objectives and it said inspire your audience. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to be true to form and I'm going to ignore those objectives. Because when I look through this book, I see 2 years of not just speeches, but 2 years of growth for me as a person. This organization is very, what are we calling it? Heuristic. And helping us prepare as speakers. When I look through this book, I see growth. When I first came through those doors and gave my first icebreaker speech, actually wearing the same dress, which I squeezed into this morning because it's Throwback Thursday. So I squeezed into it, came in to give my final speech, wearing the exact same dress. When I first came in for my icebreaker, I was thinking, I'm coming to ToastMasters for self-improvement at work, so I could be better in meetings. I was also in the junior league. I wanted to be better at presenting in the junior league and things like that. So I came for some individual goals, which I'm sure all of the rest of you knew as well. I learned so much more than that. And this morning I'd like to share with you the 10 things that I have learned from my journey here at ToastMasters. The first thing I learned is time management. When I first came and I saw this little agenda, I just sat there with the rest of y'all and went, oh, that's nice. That person's doing that. That's nice. But it helped me realize that this agenda keeps us on track. How many of us have been in meetings and they go off the rails and you get 2 hours later and you're thinking, what were we supposed to talk about? What was the purpose of this meeting? I have meetings like that every day. I've never had a meeting like that at ToastMasters. Woohoo! Because the Toastmaster always has to look down and go, in my own time. There's a clock right here, there's an agenda right here. This club has helped me understand the importance of time management. The second thing I've learned is do what you say you will do. When I first started, I didn't have a position or anything. I was just a regular club member, just coming, and then they assigned me the role of Toastmaster. And everybody warned me. Scott was one of them. He's like, you'll see. Nell was shaking her head at me. She's like, good luck with that. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I just sent out that email and people confirmed. How hard could that be? It was incredibly hard. I still remember, I think it was Wednesday, the day before, in my car, people are emailing me. I'm in my car trying to email back. I need an on counter. Are you going to do vote counter? I need confirm, people confirm. As VPE, I've shown up many times with people who have confirmed and they are not here. We have all experienced meetings that don't go off as planned or are late because people don't do what they say they will do. And it's very important that we do that. That was the second thing I learned. The third thing I learned is challenge yourself. As I said, when I first joined, my first year, I was just a member. I was just coming, just sitting down, eating my breakfast every morning, thinking, what are they going to give me next week to do? I decided to challenge myself and take on the role of VPE. I was sitting there, I'm like, should I do it? Should I do something else? You know, what am I getting out of this club? So I decided to challenge myself. I didn't just challenge myself at ToastMasters, I challenged myself outside of that as well. I took on leadership roles in the junior league as well. I joined other organizations where I could use things from what I was learning at ToastMasters to present and things like that, which was great. So I did challenge myself to do that. So that was a wonderful learning experience. The next thing I learned is preparation is very important. My first speech that I prepared, I probably prepared for it before I was even scheduled to do my icebreaker. I knew exactly what I was going to say. I wrote it out. I came up here. I had my notes, but I didn't really look at them. I was all prepared. And I thought, wow, that really makes for a great speech. I've had some speeches that I've done in the car on the way here. The really sad part is when you guys have voted that the best speech, so it's really not a training. When I've written a speech 5 minutes driving down the road, they're like, that's the best speech ever, Adele. But I have learned that preparing for a speech and preparing ahead of time is very, very important. It makes your speeches better. It makes you more comfortable up here. You know what's going to come out of your mouth next. You're not like, surprise, oh, wow, that's a good line. Glad I thought of that on the spot. Preparation is so important, and it makes you more comfortable the more you prepare. The other thing I found when giving a speech, sharing something personal about yourself makes for a way better speech. I have heard speeches from people that they're really good, but they didn't give a little bit of themselves. And then I've heard other speeches that may not be as good, but then they share that personal story about themselves, or they share a little nugget about themselves, and it's like, wow, it just elevates a speech. And I found that out in my own speeches, where I've shared personal things about me. And that's rather hard, may I add, to come up and share something personal about yourself. But what it does is, it enhances your speech and it makes it more real. And it actually brings the audience into you. And you're all family, so it's very easy to do that. The other thing, don't be afraid to be silly. I've seen the most uptight people come up here and then they do some silly things. I've gone to other clubs and people you would never imagine, they come up and do like karate demonstrations and things like that. And you're like, really, you were sitting in the back not saying anything, and all of a sudden you're doing kung fu? But it's ToastMasters. Everybody's family. We're all okay with it, so it's great. If you're new, don't be afraid to be silly. You can come up here and do anything. Last week I talked about swimming in Lucky's Lake, and it was great. The next thing, thank you. The next thing I learned from that, and this goes back to sharing something personal, is that I am not alone. Some of the stories that I've shared with you all, I've shared the story of dealing with somebody with Alzheimer's. I've shared that I'm an introvert. All of those stories are very personal to me, but one of the things I've gotten back is feedback from other people going, I went through that. I'm an introvert too. Oh my gosh, that's me too. It made me feel so great, and it makes me feel like I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. The other thing, don't sweat the small things. Last week I presented my speech. When I got in my car, I thought, oh my gosh, I had a picture to share. I had my Lucky's Lake picture, and I didn't share it. Darn it. Darn. Well, you all didn't know that. You didn't know. Many times we're presenting a speech, and we sit back down and go, I didn't say that. I didn't say this. Darn it. Well, guess what? Nobody else knows. So don't sweat the small things. Just let it go. Number 9 is don't take it personally. And this is not having to do anything with a speech. As VPE, I've lost a lot of people. I've had people do an icebreaker. I've had people email me the day before an icebreaker. You know what, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do this, bye. At first I would take it personally. I'm like, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? By the 3rd or 4th person, I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. People have life changes. Things come up. It's not me. I shouldn't take it personally. I should just let them go and understand that they can't do this anymore. Just let it go. So I don't take it personally. The last thing, and this was the hardest thing, is that you are your own worst critic. Every speech, I sit down and I'm like, oh, that was a horrible speech. I didn't do this and I didn't do that. My objective said I was supposed to do this. I didn't do that at all. No joke. This book used to be filled, all the little comments that you guys fill out, I used to put it there with each speech. I never read them.
Oh.
I was afraid to read them. It wasn't until my 5th speech or so that I went back and read them, and they were all good.
Mm-hmm.
I beat myself up a lot more than you guys ever could. And that is my journey through ToastMasters. It's been a wonderful journey to get to be a competent communicator. I am so happy to have found this club and to be able to finish out my 10th speech with you guys. Thank you.